Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. We've also been raising money at my humble abode for the Alameda Education Foundation. And I was actually on the very first board of that years ago when I was much younger, called Foundation for Educational Excellence, which is fee. So of course we have to raise money and it supports teachers. It's a pleasure to be here today. It's an interesting path that brings me here every time I'm going to speak, because I have lots of ideas, way too many ideas that I want to cover. Yet when I come here, everything flows in the perfect direction to support the theme of peace and support what I want to talk about. So I really appreciate the opportunity to really delve into my teachings and my many books and notice how guided I am to just walk by something and say, oh, I think I'll pick this up, or I think I'll do this. And then it's interesting that Amazing Grace is the song. I didn't know this ahead of time, because years ago I had a piano teacher who was going to try to teach me how to do improv and jazz stuff. He says, get rid of that music. I want you to just play. But he saw our hymnal that had Amazing Grace in it, and he saw that Save a Soul Like Me. He goes, no, it's Save a Wretch Like Me. Do you know the derivation of this song? I went, clueless. It was a slave ship captain who had a BFO, a blinding flash of the obvious, and got off a ship and was on a little island or something, and this song came to him. So I use this as an example for transformation in our own lives, in whatever arena that we see it needing. We never know when somebody engaged in something that is very distasteful for us or unjust, there's a shift. So we're always here to shift our consciousness from fear to love. Meditation is seemingly the quickest, most effective way to get in touch with who we are, mind, body, spirit. And Kathy mentioned it actually shifts our brain, the pathways in our brain. And so there are different kinds of meditation to get in touch with forgiveness and gratitude, grace, trust, and faith. And the main one is we did this during the opening prayer, which is notice ourselves where we're sitting, feel our bodies in our chair, and let go. Take deep breaths to get present. Noticing our thoughts and feelings are important, and not to judge them. And Byron Katie, who actually came here to the Home of Truth, a lot of famous people have been here. She had 4 questions for her process of forgiveness. So think of somebody or something or some situation that's really bugging you, to put it mildly, that keeps coming up. It can be out there, it can be next door, wherever, where you work, where you live. Some aggravated situation that maybe just happened to you when you made a phone call to try to get some straight answers from a business that doesn't train their people very well. So it's always that, can I choose again? So she asks, is it true? Like, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. That's what I think about some of these people that I reach on the phone. Can you absolutely know it's true? Not really. I don't know whether I just didn't ask the question properly. I don't really know. I don't have all the answers. How do you react? What happens when you believe that thought? Well, I get upset. I want to hang up. I want to call back and ask for a manager, which I do. And who would you be without that thought? So let me hear it from you. Who would we be without that aggravated thought? Free, whole, compassionate, peaceful, kinder. Yes. And how quickly can we shift our thought? immediately. And the Course in Miracles is one of my longtime paths. You can kind of tell by my book. Jeffrey says, I love to see your Course in Miracles book. It hasn't fallen apart yet. It says, all you need in the chapter on forgiveness is a little willingness and let the Holy Spirit do the work. Isn't that great? I mean, how many times in your life have you been around someone or yourself and I'm trying to forgive, I'm trying to forgive. Well, I had a realtor friend in my office years ago and she goes, well, I've forgiven, but I haven't forgotten. Well, that's the Gong Show. Eh. So be willing, that's all. It's easy. And in preparation for this talk, there was a lot of forgiveness that goes on of myself. Oh, you should have done this. You should have, maybe you won't get everything and maybe you got too much, So you know what happened? As I let go and let God, I get a call yesterday from this guy named Rich who said, there's an event here at the Home of Truth. You want to come sing? It's a sing-along. I said, I haven't heard about it. It's ukuleles and things. I thought, must have to do with Kathy. So I said, well, I have a lot to do, but I might find myself over there for an hour. Well, I did. Had a great time. And then last night, I had the Tai Chi gathering at my house. So that was a lot of preparation and then clean up. And I thought, well, I can be in bed by 10. No, my housemate comes home. I'm cleaning up. I'm puttering. I don't know if you putter. How many of you just putter? And pretty soon, 2 hours have gone by or something. I think I'm going to get to bed at 10:30. So I had to start at 9:30. Suddenly, anyway, I also like to say time flies when you're having fun. And time flies in our lives. I mean, some of us look back from our calendar age, we go, whoa, how did all those years go by so quickly? So here's another thing that just came up for me that I want to offer to you to say when people say, how old are you anyway? I say, I'm old enough to know better and young enough not to care. So that brings me happiness. And I think I'm funny sometimes. And sometimes I get a laugh. And other people around me laugh. And I go, we need more laughter. Anybody who laughs around me in the store or on the ski slopes or wherever I happen to be, and we're sharing some ideas and they laugh, I go, keep laughing. We need laughter. Was it Norman Cousins who healed himself of laughter? Yes. By watching Charlie Chaplin. I don't think that's funny. I'd watch something else. But yes. So there are many examples of our body resonating, and Kathy mentioned it too. And I didn't bring my Unity magazine that I opened to last night as I got into bed. Had some paper sticking out. Well, I was going to bring it. In any case, it was a whole article about a woman whose mission is to do scientific studies on the power of faith and the healing messages that come when we shift our consciousness. And what's that saying we always say at the Home of Truth? Change your thinking, change your life. And I loved what David Hatch said in his prayer. Plus, he has a beautiful voice delivery. Just to acknowledge where the power comes from is important. And today we'll have a burning bowl ceremony. I'll talk about that a little bit later. For now, let's get in mind a situation that you want to let go of, or a person. And it can be the one from your nose back. Because I always have said when people change jobs or change relationships or divorce, it's good to do some of your work before you do this leap of faith, because the real work is from your nose back. And I believe that the most courageous person in a relationship of any sort, business or personal, the most courageous person follows that gut feeling, says I'm done, because you're releasing yourself and the other person to their highest good. And I've been able to help people through the transitions and other kinds of things in my life that I've been through, grief. I'm not good with addiction, but there are plenty of people who are. So we have the support we need. So in Dr. Jack Miller's meditation, he works with people on grieving and loss. It's totally transformational. He used to stay at my house and I'd meet the people and see people just change before my eyes in a period of 3 months. So the first question is, as you close your eyes, heal me where I am in the greatest need of healing. It might just be a false belief in separation from your divine source. It might be a physical ailment. Second question, second statement, grant that I might serve you with my life. Where am I being led? What's next for me? Where can I shine my light? The third statement is, give me all that I need to do your will. And we know that often it comes in mysterious ways. Whether it's finding a job, you'll suddenly get a call or meet somebody who's an expert and they'll coach you. The last one is, help me to be an instrument of your healing power. So let us also be aware that healing is the mind, body, and spirit. Not just that, oh, I'm physically well. And we can heal our perceptions. A Course in Miracles says that our purpose is to shift our perception from fear to love, because the world is insane. When I read that in the Course in Miracles many years ago, I went, whoa. I mean, we don't have to keep trying to change the world. Now, spiritually, we are the world and things are not hard and fast and material all the time. Yet it's good to know that we're relieved we don't have to do everything, that we shift our own consciousness and this is reflected out. Makes a difference. And then you can sit still when you take these 4 sentences home with you if you want. And just see what message might come through for your inner voice. And then the last statement to remind yourself about is, that which is right is unfolding in my life. So showing up yesterday at the Home of Truth, which didn't fit in my schedule, it was a pleasure. Like an oasis, like a dessert, chocolate mousse or something like that. My daughter Cindy, among other things, is an artist, and I have some of her artwork in my healing space in my basement where I do Reiki and meet with people. And she wrote on this beautiful photograph she had taken in the slot canyons. These colors look fake, but they're beautiful, oranges and things. To be is simply to connect to the divine power and let it ripple out in waves of love. In Michelle Walde's book, Forgiveness, a Path, a Promise, a Way of Life, from the heart, life, and ministry of Michelle comes a healing, easy to use workbook filled with journaling prompts, recording scripts, and reflections. Margaret Mead said, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has, and we can see that. And we were reminded on the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Reverend Day of the people who stood up in the past for that which is right and who still stand up for that which is right and put their bodies on the line and speak out. And the essence of it is we are connected and love reigns. In the burning bowl opportunity today, where you'll have a little piece of paper. In fact, Barbara, how about hand out my handouts? On one side of my handout are quotations on forgiveness from the Course in Miracles. Like, forgiveness is the key to happiness. It offers everything I want. And I said that we can just turn it over to the Holy Spirit. God is the strength in which I trust. And remember, I am one with God. Today we give thanks. In unity, the miraculous attitude of gratitude is one of the pamphlets that I look at. In it, it says, I praise and give thanks for the light of the world that I am and for my expanding ability to let this light shine. Ernest Holmes says in The Science of Mind, the mind which condemns understands not the truth of being, and the heart which would shut the door to one who is mistaken strangles its own life, closing its eyes to a greater vision. The biggest life is the one which includes the most. And this is how faith brings our desires to pass. In the Pulitzer Prize winning author Alice Walker's book entitled We Are the Ones We Have Been Waiting For, Inner Light in a Time of Darkness, reminds us that what we might hear or read about in the news, which often isn't very funny, is an opportunity to align as a community in shifting our thinking from fear to love and changing lives for the better in our own ways and listening within for what our path is. Barbara, do you want to hand out the, you do, thank you very much. You also have little slips of paper. So as I'm talking, as you're thinking, you can write down something you want to release. And then here's my burning bowl. We'll put it in later. Probably won't burn it in here, but outside's. And I know we're not supposed to pray to God for something, but I did pray for good weather so we can have a burning bowl outside. I just want to share one of the many serendipitous things, two of the many serendipitous things that have happened to me lately. I was in Cabo. I decided to take the yoga class, a young woman named Gabby. And after the second morning, she's sharing about having a boyfriend. She's in her 20s. He's a little older, and he has some ailment where his body can hurt, yet he has a painting company and he has to use his body. And seemingly out of the blue, she said, well, yeah, and there was this Indian man who was trying to heal his daughter, and he was looking around different places in the world for what could heal his daughter of a seemingly unknown ailment. And he came upon Ho'oponopono. How many of you do know what Ho'oponopono is? Well, what are the chances of this coming up in Cabo San Lucas at the Serena del Mar resort where I go every year? And so we talked about Ho'oponopono. I'm not sure if it's in the right order, but it's, I love you, please forgive me. Let's see. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you, thank you. Okay. Yeah, okay, good. Any order seems to work. Okay. I'm sorry works well at the beginning. And it's easier to say Ho'oponopono than it is to say those words, especially if you're directing them to her. Like years ago, one of my neighbors was kind of going nuts. Now we're like that. I have had some tenants who were issues, and we'd talk and we got along, but I actually wanted them out because they were bothering some other people with some of their behaviors. And I just went, and some of the other people in the building aligned with me. Let's send Ho'oponopono. Well, he gave me notice, and she had moved out for other reasons, and then just called me, and she moved back in. So I feel blessed with the people who flow in and out of my life. And the last thing is, I'm in Safeway yesterday, which I call my second spiritual center. Because especially during the pandemic, walking around town and seeing people, hey, how you doing? Well, not so good. My husband's in the hospital. So we talk. Pretty soon I'm giving him, I said, oh, I'm an interfaith minister. Would you like a little blessing? So I'm giving him a prayer treatment, a la Science of Mind and New Thought. And we're hugging and crying. And someone else will watch this and come up and, hey, can I have one too? So yesterday I went to the market to quickly get some things for the party at my house. And I see this woman walk by me, and she has this really cool color orange. And it has a nice pattern on it, the sweater. And she went by, and I thought, dang, you know what? That's the kind of thing that I will make a comment on. Hey, I like your sweater. And I hadn't. And I thought for a second, it's a missed opportunity. And I immediately went, oh, well, like, let go, let go, let God, let go. So who shows up behind me in the line? There are like 6 lines open. And I turn around, and here she is. And for some reason, I started speaking Spanish with someone. She goes, oh, you speak Spanish or Italian or something? I made some comment. And she goes, oh, I said, yeah. And then I said, oh, what's your name? She said, it's Serena. And I went, oh yeah, I just was at Serena del Mar in Cabo. She goes, I love Cabo. I'm going there, in the spring. I went, wow. And she said, and Flora Farms is a place where my friends and my family, we always go. It's a farm to table. She goes, oh, you have to go to Flora Farms. And and then I said, oh yeah, Serena. I said, that's a beautiful name, Spanish. She says, yeah, I said, well, I speak Spanish too, and I can fake it in Italian and French. She goes, I'm a Spanish teacher. Well, those of you who know me, I started out as a Spanish teacher. I always knew I would be a teacher from the time I was little. She teaches in Hayward. So, that's another hug. But to me, it's a reminder of what many of our spiritual teachers talk about: spread our light. And I just want to mention this article. Yes, I get the paper. Yes, it's getting expensive, but worth it. Martin Luther King's latest, well, the last book was, maybe you know this, published in 1967, and I'm a child of the 60s. Where do we go from here? Chaos or community? So here we are. Some things that we thought we handled a long time ago, guess what? It's up again. And somebody told me a few years ago, it's a homeopathic process. In homeopathy, as I understand it, the dis-ease has to come to the surface to see it, to heal it. So as Teresa used to tell me, my good friend in New Jersey, you got to feel it to heal it. She also said things like, obey events as they present. And it's not the end of the story. And I'm going to go see her in April and see another friend in New Jersey. But I'm so blessed because she's a gift that keeps giving. And she's been the role model for me in being able to listen to somebody, just listen. And the fact of listening to know this person will get his or her own answers or their answers. To surround people with knowing. There are lots of articles in this month's Science of Mind magazine, and it's called A Grand Rising. And it's written by this amazing guy, Jeffrey Seeley. He is around the world transforming things with his personality and his message. And if you get a chance, check him out online, because often going around my house, I will call forth from Google my interfaith meditations. They're very short, sweet, and to the point. Or someone like Jeffrey Seeley, or occasionally Commonwealth Club. I was in Sedona, and I'm thinking about the vortex. I believe that where we are sitting today is a vortex, because magical things happen, spiritual things happen, love is abundant, and healings occur in our whole backgrounds. Okay, great. In New Thought traditions, and this was like Emma Curtis Hopkins, Mary Baker Eddy, a lot of people like that in the late 1800s, they wanted to have spirituality and religion be practical. And many of them were healed of ailments and instantaneously. So we have lots of ways to practice our teachings. And I encourage you to be out in the world and practice peace, love, and good vibes. Ernest Holmes says, God is all. There is but one power, intelligence, and consciousness in the universe. One presence. This one presence cannot change. So think about anyone you know who could use some healing, including yourself. And it doesn't have to be physical. It can be judgmental or whatever is going on. Lack of anything, lack of time. I'm not enough. Know that there are opportunities in your environment. Don't fall victim to the hypnotic condition. You can deny them, not that they don't appear in your life, but deny the reality. This isn't like pretending something doesn't exist. deny that it has power over you and other people. So we know how to clear our consciousness. We know how to move forward. And as I was sitting in my chair earlier, I remembered a song we used to sing here, which was all the cells of my body are daily bathed in the perfection of my divine being. Ooh, I am an ever-flowing stream of aliveness. And the other one I want to do is after you write down some things you want to release and let go of, maybe you can get some ideas by looking at your handout. Also, there's a list of references. And not only are we going to let go today and forgive, but come into gratitude. Notice it's not raining. We're here today. We were led to be here for whatever reason. We're to share our talents, time, and treasures. And we can trust that we are always in our right place. And I get some old messages from my mom's voice. You have all the time there is, Nancy. But in my life, the lack that I've talked about and felt is, oh, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. So the voice, inner voice has my mother's tones. You have all the time there is. And yes, you can do this. I can't do this. I can't. That's another childhood thing. I can't do this. I'm too shy. I'm too shy. Yeah, I was shy. And there's a transformation. And again, my parents, their love and the support, and in my community and other examples showed me another way. There's got to be another way. And that's exactly what brought forth A Course in Miracles when Helen Schuteman said that. And Bill Thetford. There's got to be another way. And so this backbiting in our psychology department. And she, a militantly atheistic Jewish woman, started hearing a voice, the voice of Jesus, telling her to take notes. She didn't have to like it, just do it. Transformed lives. This book has been translated into probably close to 15 or more languages and all around the world. And the good news is it's a huge book. You don't have to carry it around. You just have to study it for a while. And then it says, now that you've shifted your perception from fear to love, forget this book, forget the teachings, and listen only to your inner teacher. Okay, so thank you very much. We'll close with being willing to forgive, experience gratitude, have it run like a constant tape in your mind, and trust that you are in your right place at all times, doing what you need to do. You don't have to study all the time and prepare. You can go party and have some fun and smile at people and get energized. So you are free. Let's sing I Am Free. Can you give me the, okay? I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited right now, right now. I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited right now. Let me see you stand up and get some exercise. Get that circulation going. We are going to circulate in our community, in our lives, in our bodies, in our homes. Movement forward, movement forward. 1, 2. I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited right now, right now. I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited right now. Do I hear a higher note? Thank you.
All right, let's give some love to Reverend Nancy Joy. All right. Now she talked about being able to listen to people so they can find their own wisdom and their own answers. But she also talked about standing up for what's right. And I think we're going to do that because we're going to sing about marching in the light of God. Because marching in the light of God is standing up for what you know is right.
Marching in the light of God. We are 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 marching, marching, marching. We are marching in the light of God. We are marching, marching. We are marching, marching. We are marching in the light of God. We are marching in the light of God. We are marching in the light of God. We are marching in the peace of God. We are marching in the peace of God. We are marching. We are marching, marching. We are marching in the peace of God. We are marching. We are marching. We are marching in the peace of God. Great. We are marching in the grace of God. 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 We are marching, 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 marching. We are marching in the grace of God. We are marching. We are marching. We are marching in the grace of God. 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 Marching, 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 marching in the grace of God. We are marching, 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 marching. We are marching in the grace of God. Thank you, choir.
Whew, that was fun to march. Did it remind anybody else of doing certain marches for political purposes? And good for balance too. That's right. Whew. Prema Elvin was in and teaching a seminar, a workshop at the S training, which became Landmark years ago. And I thought this was secular spirituality. I loved it, you know. And I was totally inspired by people sharing. It was like amazing. And I remember in the About Money seminar, she walks up from the back, beautiful Black woman with a red dress, very stunning. And she goes, you know, here's what I got to say about money. Plenty out there, go get yourself some. So that was a little more brazen than we normally say at the Home of Truth. yet we do teach abundance. And there is enough. And sometimes abundance isn't in the form of cash or checks. It's in the abundance of time and energy. It's all of that. And so let's do a little prosperity in every sense of the word for ourselves and for the Home of Truth and for beyond. Mother, Father, God, Today, we are letting go and forgiving any misperceptions and shifting our attention from lack to fullness, to abundance in every aspect of our life, whether it's time, resources, a place to live, friends, love, all of that. There is enough. And we emulate that in our lives. And we can always choose again to see money differently, to see abundance in the fullness that it is. We know that God is our source and that we are the perfect divine reflection of the Creator, of the one creation that continues to create in all ways, in all time and space for everyone. We give thanks for the abundance, for our opportunity to give, and we trust that the money that comes in and the resources of people and talents that come to this spiritual center make a difference. Yes, we can pay bills. We also spread good energy, hope, peace, and opportunities in all kinds of different ways. And we take that out into our communities and world. If not you, who? If not now, when? Comes up. Know that you are all powerful because you reflect God. You are all abundant and totally sufficient and are enough with every part of your being. Thank you, God. We'll now have the collection contributions to our spiritual center.